2025 is definitely going to be the worst year for Xbox console sales and PlayStation console sales, and I think this could end up being a pivotal year, a year where things will have to change. And let's see, we already know console sales drop every year, right? Compared to the previous year, because it's logical, as consoles are long-lasting electronics, and once you've bought yours, you're not thinking about buying a new one, so those who already have the console, well, they already have it, and they're not going to go buying a second or third console, so it's logical that sales drop year after year after year. But in 2025, there are certain external factors that we're going to analyze in today's video that I think are going to make this much more serious than in previous years or past generations. Welcome friends to a new video analysis here on Big Data News. One of those videos where we analyze. Very well, Poro, well named. Let's analyze the current situation of the consoles. What is happening with console sales, and beyond getting into the sensationalism that every year fewer consoles are sold than in reality, it's totally logical. Let's see a bit what's going to happen in 2025 specifically, because this is a year. It's really tough for Xbox and PlayStation. I'm talking about the plastics of the consoles, as I was saying. Console sales are going to keep going down naturally. It's what happens in every generation. A new console comes out, everyone wants to have it. They try to buy it and so on. For the second year, there are already a lot of people who have it. Third, fourth, fifth, so on, and they keep decreasing, so it's logical that sales go down. And they keep going down. But this particular year, 2025, something is happening that has never happened before in the history of video games, and it seems that PlayStation and Xbox are determined to sell fewer and fewer consoles. On one hand, we have the case of PlayStation, a company that seems totally determined to publish absolutely all their games on PC. Yes, it's true, they haven't officially told you yet, but you already know where all this is going. All PlayStation games, sooner or later, are going to end up on PC. Whether you like it or not, whether you want it or not. And even the time gap between PlayStation and PC. If not, look at the case of Marvel's Spider-Man 2. A title that was even rushed to be released on PC. They rushed it so much that it came out quite broken, and now they are fixing it. Anyway, a year and a few months for it to come out of Play 5 with its exclusivity straight to PC, or Helldivers 2, for example. Another PlayStation game that came out directly day one on PC and PlayStation. Well, these practices undoubtedly influence console sales a lot. And if they keep repeating, which they are going to keep repeating, they are going to directly influence PlayStation sales during this 2025. Because whoever has a little extra budget to set up a PC and doesn't care between PC and consoles, well, they go straight for the PC. Because with a little patience, with a year that you wait, any PlayStation game comes out directly on Steam. On the other side of the equation, we have Xbox with an even clearer issue. And that is that Microsoft is no longer interested in selling consoles. Let's see. This does not mean that they are not interested at all. Whenever an Xbox is sold, Microsoft is going to make money. It's going to gain a user. It's going to gain someone who is going to buy games only in the closed Xbox system. But it is true that for Microsoft today, selling Xbox consoles is not a priority. Today, anyone who wants to play an Xbox game and is on a budget a little bit higher than a console can set up a PC that is going to be a much better deal. Because it's going to have a lot more games and even better prices. Everything on Xbox has long been available on PC. But the focus seems to be getting even more aggressive and regionalized, with an increasing number of options. Having an Xbox is not important. Or you don't have an Xbox. We don't care. Microsoft tells you directly to your face. And the same if you can afford a decent PC. Well, it's better to go for a PC than an Xbox, or even if you're really into console and don't want to switch to a PC and nowadays you want to get into gaming. Well, you might even be tempted by the idea of getting yourself a PlayStation. Since it's clear from Microsoft that they plan to put all the damn Xbox games on PlayStation, even though they haven't said it this way, They've already hinted at it. Definitely this eagerness for their games to be anywhere, for cloud gaming to be playable on PlayStation, on PC, on anything, will somehow make Microsoft sell many more games. But they will also make those games playable anywhere else. And maybe Xbox won't be as relevant anymore, or at least it will have lost that hook that was going to motivate you to buy an Xbox. Recently, the current president of the United States, Donald Trump, has imposed a 25% tariff on products imported from Mexico and Canada, and an extra 10% tax on things that come from China. Well, not all things, but many things. Measures that are going to take effect from now on, February of 2025. These actions could have a significant impact on the console market, since many of these consoles, like the Xbox, like the PlayStation, and their components, are manufactured in countries affected by these tariffs. And the increase in import costs will end up being passed on to the users. Mexico is also a major exporter of electronic products to the US, including consoles, accessories, video games, video game boxes, and so on. And these tariffs applied to Mexico will directly be applied to the consoles that are distributed in the United States. This is still very fresh, and we still don't know how it's going to affect us. But we believe that these new policies being taken in the United States could end up increasing the prices of consoles between 10 and 40%. Well, when I say consoles, I mean everything, right? Making this contribute to more people, well, not getting to buy their console or not interested in buying a console. This goes for the Americans. And probably many of you, well, no, probably not. Many of you are not Americans. Most are Latinos, some Latinos in the United States, but most in Latin America. And you're probably thinking, well, this doesn't affect me. But the United States, let them do what they want. Unfortunately, in most Latin American countries, it does affect us what they do or don't do in the United States. Because for most Latin American countries, especially in South America, the consoles, peripherals, and electronics dedicated to Xbox, PlayStation, and others first go through the United States. Much of the distribution of PlayStation and Xbox comes from the United States and goes down through other countries until it reaches different destinations. Not everything, but a large part does. On the other hand, there is also the aspect that if prices go up in the United States, and maybe they go up for everyone, because you know how it is with markets and all, maybe it doesn't affect Europeans as much. Maybe not. Hopefully not. Because they are already screwed with the prices of games and consoles. But I believe it's going to directly affect Latin America. Last year, Sony PlayStation opened a factory in Brazil to distribute physical video games and other things. But we do not have updated public information about the operational status of this factory, and whether they are truly making games or not. Look, the intentions are there, but for now, Latin America depends on the United States. Xbox is the most interested in cloud gaming technology, but in general, everyone is looking at this new little world with a certain fond eye. GeForce Now, Xbox Cloud Gaming, and other services allow us to play without the need for a console if you have a good internet connection. And truly, they have improved a lot lately. And it's also another factor that will make this year if they perfect cloud gaming a little more. Console sales will decline. Since we're discussing politics and economics, we could also discuss the European Union, which now wants to ban it to distributors and stores in Europe that send consoles to Russia. Although companies like Nintendo, Sony, and Microsoft have already suspended console, peripheral, and other sales in Russia since March 2022, it is true that products are sent from Europe through third parties and other markets parallel to the official market. It seems that the European Union wants to stop all this because they would be using the consoles for other purposes that I won't mention too much because they'll take down the video. It is estimated that there are 23 million video gamers in Russia. It's not a small thing, and it's a market that is not full of consoles, far from it. And it's another market that would close to continue buying consoles. It's a big deal, affecting 23 million consumers. Remember that Russia is a very big. Nintendo is launching the Switch 2 this year. And we already know that maybe, well, the one who plays. Nintendo Switch is not often the one who plays PlayStation or plays Xbox, okay? They might be different markets, but there are many occasions when it is the same market. Yes, there will be people who say, well, now that I have the opportunity to buy a console, no, I'm going to buy an Xbox. I'll wait for the Switch 2 and get on. Nintendo, the analysts and everyone who likes to talk about video games and economy and others, which is more or less what I'm playing today. They love to leave Nintendo aside. Saying Nintendo doesn't compete with PlayStation or Xbox is like ignoring that they're all in the gaming industry, despite being very different electronics, aimed at very different styles of play. But I have more than one friend, and I know more than one person who is waiting for the Nintendo Switch 2 and who is not updating the PlayStation 4 or the Xbox One. Because games are still coming out. Or they can still play Fédération Internationale de Football Association or Call of Duty. Instead of buying a PlayStation 5 or Xbox Series, they choose Nintendo because they prefer it. There are a lot of people like that, and the fact that the Switch 2 is coming out this year directly affects the sales of PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series. And another phenomenon that will undoubtedly have a very negative impact. This year, the sales of Xbox and PlayStation are affected by the PC consoles, the console-like PCs, the Steam Deck, the Asus ROG Lite, the Lenovo Legion Go, all those things that are relatively cheap. They are powerful and allow you to play PC titles and also console games because they run Steam, or many even run the Xbox launcher. And nowadays they are almost equal in price, capabilities and other things. In terms of the latest consoles from Sony and Microsoft, the prices of the games keep going up. They cost more and more due to increasing expenditure on game development, and they need more and more money to amortize. And there are fewer and fewer traditional players. We call traditional players those like us. Perhaps we buy a game, finish it, and put it on the shelf. Nowadays, the market is much more diversified. And we have games as a service everywhere, and even very good ones. We have mobile games. We have many other options that maybe 20 years ago to play. Today, we have not just consoles or PCs, but also cloud gaming, which is crazy. The options have really diversified. All these factors that I've been telling you about, which are economic, social, political, distribution, people's interest, of competitiveness with other platforms. All of this put into one bag, and it's quite catastrophic. For Xbox and PlayStation sales beyond, as I told you at the beginning of the video, the sales of the consoles drop year by year. Year after year, year after year, year after year. I think this 2025 is going to be by far, in comparison, the worst year for PlayStation and Xbox as consoles. Because never in the history of gaming have there been so many factors that directly attacked the sale of this format. So classic. Because the console is still a classic format. And the classics, well, they are classics. Because they are a thing of the past. They are still relevant, but their golden age is no more. Consoles are not going to disappear because they still sell millions. Microsoft will continue producing Xbox as long as it sells 30 units. 40, 50 million, it's still a business. Not for what they earn with the consoles, but because they are closed systems where you only buy from them. PlayStation is not going to stop making consoles, not by a long shot. The numbers would have to fall very low, maybe for the next generation. For now, I think we're fine. What is going to happen is that they are going to take a big hit against the wall, and they're going to have to do something so that people can continue to justify the fact of buying a console. Are we facing the beginning of the end for traditional consoles? Is it time for consoles to be more open systems that allow us to do other things? Or is it simply a difficult time that they will manage to overcome? Let me know in the comments what you think about what's happening. I'll be reading them and I'll be responding on this topic that I'm really interested in knowing what you think. Side note for the longtime followers of the channel, we are in the new Big Data Studio. This is just one wall of the new Big Data Studio, which is still under construction. We have about 10 days left before we come out in a more classic format. For now, this is the format we'll have. Thanks for watching, friends. See you next time. Bye.